Taxation with representation has not been such a good idea either, and it has not been such a good idea. Good morning, everyone. I am Gilbert Carmona. I am an enrolled agent. I am enrolled with the Internal Revenue Service, United States Department of Treasury, to represent taxpayers. I prepare tax returns. I do all things IRS related, but I work for you, the taxpayer, because I really feel that my calling is to help people. This morning I have Emily with me, who's also an enrolled agent. You have two enrolled agents in one room, which is a big deal because there's only estimated 50,000 of us in the whole country. We are all about taxation, and this is what we do. Although this morning I'm going to talk about a couple of other things that are very, very serious that in a roundabout way are related to taxation.
So, what isn't related to taxation?
What isn't exactly, Emily? Good morning, Emily. What isn't related to taxation? What's happened is we're in an environment now where every business decision, that should be my new byline of the program, every business decision is a tax decision, and every tax decision ultimately becomes a business decision because it affects the way you run your business. There's a lot that happened in the last, I was going to say the last 24 hours, really the last 48 hours. I'm going to get into that. It's a lot of seriousness. So, I know the program, we try to have a lot of fun with this, and we enjoy what we do. We deal with the IRS, we talk to auditors, and we talk to agents, and we just try to bring that world to people. I have the only program that I know of, and I've heard this from other people, I have the only program that is dedicated to taxes. As a matter of fact, I was at an event, and there's a syndicated radio host, very famous, and some of people connected with his network were talking to me about possibly syndicating my program, and he said to me, "You are the only person I know doing a program on taxes." He goes, "And I think I know everybody doing in this space." I'm glad I didn't go with them for several reasons. One of them is I believe this platform here, WCAB, is unique in the country. It is local, with strong local roots. And that's originally why I even wanted to be on this radio station. And this is something we do. Emily's here. This is live radio. My engineer this morning, Tom. Good morning, Tom. So glad to have you. We get up early to do this program. Actually, I went to bed at 2:45 getting ready for this program. I used to say it's the most researched program on taxes in the country.
I did my research this morning.
You did yours this morning. You got up early and did yours. Mm-hmm. I used to say it was the most researched program on taxes till that columnist told me I was the only program on taxes.
We could still be the most.
So I'm the most researched program on taxes. I will say this, I'm probably the most researched podcast on taxes. I can't find another podcaster specializing in taxes. And I never wanted to be this program to be a 1-hour commercial for me. I never did. I could sit here for 1 hour and tell you to call me, and I'll let me do your tax return. I really wanted it to be a communication exchange where I'm actually giving you some information. Useful, some of it trivia, some of it fun, some of it serious. Share my heart, open things, hopefully debate things, and always question why. That's what I wanted to do. And been here now, this is our 9th year. So, again, let me get all that out of the way. I do have 2 offices. We are at 704 Oak Street in Forest City, and I have another office in Tryon, 226 South Trade Street, which is the beautiful Art Deco building right off the historic downtown Tryon. One telephone number gets you an appointment at all of them, 828-289-9300, and you can call, and we are accepting new clients. Now, the deadlines. Wednesday, the 15th of March, is the deadline for corporate tax returns. Those are LLCs, partnerships, and that's an LLC that's filing an S Corp status tax return, an 1120S. Okay? So you could be an LLC that files a C Corp. Those aren't due till April. But if you have an LLC, chances are your tax return is due March 15th. If you have a partnership, your tax return is definitely due March 15th. Okay? So, and that is till midnight. Now, we are not accepting new clients for those. Okay? The only thing I can do right now for you is if you came I could file an extension for you at this point. And we file a lot of extensions for S corps and partnerships because it is a 3-month. I mean, you basically have, from January 1st to March 15th to get it done, and most people just can't. And there are people that are just like automatic extensions. They're like, Gilbert, we'll come see you in June. I mean, they're busy. They're running their business. Springtime's a very busy time for them. So there's really no downside to filing an extension. I have people call for whatever reason. They'll say, I need to file an extension. Is that a red flag? No, it's not a red flag. It is absolutely, it does not create any kind of ping in the system at all, okay? So
you do have to remember, if you extend your business, that you can't file your personal until you've done the business.
Exactly. So we try to get a lot of these extensions done by April 15th. This year it's April 18th, so we can get the business information into the personal. Now, what if we can't get it done for whatever reason? Then we file an extension on the personal. Again, it's not a red flag. We do it. And Emily, an extension to file
is not an extension to pay.
Amen. If you usually owe, and people know who they are. They all know who they are. So it's not like, do you think I'll owe this year? No, the question is, how much am I going to owe this year? Because it just seems to really fall in those brackets year after year. So if you're a person that owes, we can send an estimated tax payment with that extension just to cover it, and then we go ahead and get you done. So that is March 15th. That is the deadline there. We will be all hands on deck all week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, filing extensions. So far, we filed quite a few, and these are just people that called us. We had people call us in January. And they go ahead and file an extension for me. I don't even want to think about this. I got a lot going on. Okay, so got all that out of the way. But we are taking on new clients for tax returns. We also do tax issue resolution. We are enrolled agents. So if you've got letters from the IRS, we're there to help you. And that's what makes us really unique in the tax preparation space, is that we prepare the tax return, and then if there's a problem with that tax return, we can help fix the problem. For whatever reason, there's a problem, we're there and we can do it. Every year we have a lot of people come to us and say, I got a letter from the IRS, I took it to my tax preparer, and my tax preparer said, oh, I can't help you with that. I mean, how many do we get every year? Emily, dozens, and the numbers just keeps growing. And they come to us and they're like, well, why did I have that person do my tax return? I look at them and I say, I don't know, why did you? Why did you? Because they don't think it's a question they don't think to ask. And the other thing, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned ghost preparers. They go to a tax preparer, and the tax preparer's not even there. I mean, I had a lady come to me one time, and she said, I went to that little booth at Walmart. She said, I got a letter from the IRS. I went back, and the booth was gone.
It shows up from day to day.
Yeah, we don't even know at Walmart where that booth is going to be, or where in Walmart it's going to be. The little booth is just there during tax season, and it leaves. And there are seasonal preparers, people that's all they do 3-4 months out of the year, and then you never see them again till the next year. And most people don't even know that unless you had a reason to go find them. And then you're going looking for them, and they're not there. And that's why they're not there, because they're part-time. But it's gotten to the point now where you can't be a part-time professional anymore. When I first started doing this program 9 years ago, I remember saying, I think we will see the non-professional tax preparer disappear. I think it's just going to go, and it's not even going to be like some law. I know the IRS has tried to regulate that and come up with, rules, and I know they got sued and they had to backpedal it. But, I mean, I'm all for professionalizing this business, because it's just not right that somebody can go buy TurboTax software, charge people $150, and then on the bottom where the preparer information goes, they put self-prepared. So you literally looks like you prepared that tax return, you filed that tax return, and then if there's a problem, it's you. But the whole reason you paid somebody is so when there's a problem, you can go to them. So I've always wanted to see that, but I predicted it was going to happen, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened. But in a way, it has, because People have just gotten out of it. They're like, this has gotten way too complicated. I'm like,
Over the
yes.
last several years, especially.
Yeah,
Last few
well,
years.
with the pandemic and everything. Okay, so got that out of the way. March 15th is a major deadline. If you need an extension, give me a call, 828-289-9300. Now, I hope you notice I'm moving very fast, and there's a reason I'm moving very fast. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to talk about what I really came here to talk about today, or at least what I really think I want to talk about today.
I think you'll get it.
Who knows where the Lord is going to lead me on this one. But the other thing I wanted to do is I want to thank everybody. Emily, we've done it again. We were voted best of Rutherford County. Yay. You can give a clap.
Yay.
We were voted best financial planner of Rutherford County. Actually, they said I could announce it after February 28th. I was going to announce it last week, but I got on whatever subject I got on. And I didn't know how to segue back to it. Because like I said, I don't want this to be a 1-hour commercial for me. I really want to thank the people that voted for me. And because I'm not the best financial planner, guys. I just really want to help you. And for me to help you, I got to be good at what I do. And I really try to be good at what I do. But I want to thank you for voting for me, because all of you took the time and voted for me. Okay, and I've said this. I try to be humble about it. I'm at a the other financial planners in the county are at a little bit of a disadvantage because I have a very large tax base. You know, because I've been doing tax returns for 20-something years. I don't even.
A long time.
We mumble during that word. 20 years. I've been doing it for a long time, and I have a very large tax base. And I'm also a financial planner. I have securities licenses. So I do both tax preparation and investments because the two just go together. You know, how can you do investing without being aware of your tax situation? I like, we get people bring us those financial statements, and it says in the bottom, consult your tax professional. Well, why not just let your tax professional do your tax return, do the tax return for you, and let him handle the investments too? There's very few people that do both. I do both. But I want to thank all of you that voted for me. So Rutherford County, best of financial planner. And I don't even know how many years I've won it.
Several.
I really, this is a guess. I don't want to get a phone call later that you're wrong, because somebody's going to research this.
Yeah, like me.
Like you. I won it 2 years in a row, and then I didn't win it for a year, and then I was runner-up, and then I've won it 5 years in a row? 4 or 5. The pandemic, that kind of was a blur. I know I got it. Anyway, I want to thank everybody. It doesn't matter. Every day, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And it's today, and I want to thank everybody. Now, today, we're going to lose an hour. Tonight. It's tonight. Mm-hmm. It did. Oh, Tom's like, yeah. Tom's going to lose an hour of sleep.
Well, if you stay up till 2 again, you're going to be awake to see it.
I'm going to bump into myself as I go to bed. If I stay up till 2, well, I don't think I'm going to stay up till 2 tonight. Because one of the reasons is I wanted to be ready for this program with what I'm getting ready to talk about. But so a question about the daylight savings time thing. Last year, and I said it on the air, I said, I think this is going to be the last daylight savings fall we're ever going to have. Did Congress pass to get rid of it? They voted. They didn't do it.
Not yet.
Cowards.
They keep talking about it.
That's all they do.
Tom, all they do is talk about everything.
I'll believe it when it happens.
Yeah. Well, that last fall they said, "Oh, we're going to do this."
Yeah.
Well, some states don't even do daylight savings
No,
time.
Indiana. Because you're now, Emily. You were born in Ohio, so you're an Ohio girl. Yeah. I was born in Cuba, but I grew up in Illinois. So, and I did business in Indiana. Indiana, big parts of the state don't. To them, it never changes.
I think Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
There's those states that are on that line. You know that line that they show you. Those states, but in Indiana, it's like a really wide. It's just a bunch of cornfields anyway. You know, they're not.
I mean, the daylight doesn't matter.
Yeah. The cows are going to be up anyway. Okay.
Doesn't matter what time.
They don't care what time it is. Okay. The cows are going to be up and the corn's going to grow. That's Indiana. But I really thought they were going to do it. They sounded so like it was going to happen. It was a thing. I know it was on the Senate floor. They were going to pass that law. Okay. So we lose an hour. we lose an hour tonight. So everybody remember that when they go to bed,
Change your clock.
change your clocks, because otherwise you're going to be late everywhere you go on Sunday. Okay, so got that out of the way. What else did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about that. Now, Tom, I don't even know that we're going to get to commercials today. Seriously, what I need to talk about is so red hot and so right now. I originally was going to talk about, I wanted to talk about IRAs, but when I get to the other subject I'm going to talk about, it's going to make the whole IRA topic seem I don't know, seem like, well, let me get into it. So I've seen where people there's confusion. Let me say this. There's confusion. There's lots of confusion in the land, Emily. Just read your Bible. There's a lot of confusion. But there's confusion about IRAs. So this is the confusion. Is some people, when they go to open up an IRA, well, I guess let me back up and do IRA fundamentals, right? Have I gotten everything? You're writing things down. You're making notes. Mm-hmm. Okay. IRA fundamentals. And I had my outline of what I was going to talk about.
We are talking about which IRA?
We are talking about...
You know I had to say that.
Yeah, you had to say that.
It's not the Irish Republican Army.
No, we're not talking about the Irish Republican Army. We are talking about... Huh?
That's my boy.
Yeah, right there. That was for Tom. Okay. We're not talking about the Irish Republican...
Individual retirement accounts.
Accounts.
Got it.
That is the IRA we are talking about. Okay? The IRA... individual retirement accounts. So let me just do some fundamentals. Let me back this up a little bit, and I'm gonna hit this topic real fast. Because this happened this week with a couple of tax returns. So you have until April 15th. This year it's April 18th of this year of 2023 to fund an IRA for 2022 and get a tax deduction. Okay, people say I get a tax refund. It's not really a refund. You get a tax deduction, a tax reduction. What an IRA does, if you open up an IRA, so just the basic rules here. You are under 50, you can contribute up to $6,000 to an IRA, individual retirement account. If you're over 50, you can contribute up to $7,000. If I contribute $6,000 or $7,000, it will reduce my taxable income for 2022 by that whatever amount of money. You don't have to put the full amount. You can put part of it. Okay? It will reduce your taxable income. So you made $50,000, and I'm using just round numbers because I have people that actually will call me out. Standard deduction is not $25,000. It's $25,490, whatever. You know, I get those emails, Emily. So, but I'm using round numbers deliberately. Keep it simple. You made $50,000, married, filing joint, standard deduction is $25,000. You have taxable income of $25,000. Okay, you're going to pay tax on that $25,000. You put $6,000 into an IRA, you're not only going to pay tax on the $19,000. Okay, how much money is that going to be? Well, it depends on your tax bracket. Now, in that example, you're going to be in the lowest tax bracket, which is 10%. So you're going to save approximately $2,000 and change. Actually, it's just under $2,000. Okay, 1978 or something you're going to save. Okay, in taxes, which, hey, that's real money. That's actually a lot of money. Now you're taking $6,000 and you're putting it into an IRA that hopefully will grow, earn you money. The theory is it's going to be there for you when you're in retirement. The theory is you're going to be in a lower tax bracket when you're in retirement. When you take it out of the account, the individual retirement account that you put it in, when you take it out, you then pay tax on it and the gain then. Okay? Those are the fundamentals of an IRA. Very simple. Now, if the IRS, the government giveth, the government taketh, the government will penalize you. So they're giving you this tax break. But let's say you need the money now, you take it out early. Early is before 59 and a half. You take the money out, there's a 10% penalty for doing that. So count the cost before you open up an IRA. And for very young people, I know young people do it, and I know some young people that have some pretty hefty IRAs. And when I say young people, I'm talking about people in their 30s that have been contributing pretty consistently. Now, for young people, it's a long road to hoe. I mean, you know, you're looking at retirement in 37 years if you're 30 years old. 29 and a half till you're 59 and a half. But there are a couple of exceptions to that 10% penalty. You can take out $10,000 to buy a home. That's first-time homeowner, which the clock resets every 5 years on that, by the way. You can be a first-time homeowner every 5 years. You can take out $10,000 and not pay the penalty. You pay the tax, but not the penalty. Medical, major medical, and major medical, folks. A head cold is not major medical. You can take the money out for major medical, and there are some limits in that there, but that's pretty wide open. And in an audit, you just have to prove that it was major medical. And believe me, if you've had major medical, you'll have lots of proof. You'll have lots of proof. Like every bill from every medical person you talk to is proof. And then there's education that's a little more limited, and that is education for you, higher education, let me say it that way, higher education at an institution, a recognized institution for you or a dependent. Okay, so those are the nutshell of that is the nutshell of what an IRA is. So you are eligible to put money into the IRA. This is where the confusion comes in. Okay, that took 4 minutes to explain that. The confusion that comes in is this. If you make too much money, you don't get a reduction of tax because there is an upper threshold. It's over $200,000 for married filing joint. It's like $204,000, and then it phases out. So your deduction, your deductibility, your income deduction gets smaller. So it's from $204,000 to $220,000. If you're single, it's $120 and change. Anyway, there's this phase out. So people will say, well, wait a minute, I'm eligible to put the money in. They meet all the criteria. They don't have a retirement plan at work, blah, blah, blah. There's all these rules. They're eligible. But when I put it in the software, it didn't reduce my tax at all. I said, yes, you don't qualify for a deduction, but you are eligible to put it in an IRA. And then people say, oh, forget it, I'm not going to do it. So I just want to point that out, don't just do it because you're getting a tax break. Do it because you're putting money away for your retirement. And the whole concern that the government has, that I have, that financial planners have right now, is that we have young people going to go into retirement with no money because they are not saving. I mean, Tom, you remember, you and I, older people, we remember our grandparents were savers. I mean, if you needed money, who did you go? If you needed money, okay, your car broke down, you needed a couple $100 because you could fix your car for a couple $100 back then, okay? Yeah, a couple of $100 and I'm good to go, okay? You needed U-joints. I remember I needed U-joints on the Charger, okay? U-joints on the Charger, yeah. Young people have no idea what I'm even talking about. I needed U-joints on the Charger. I think the U-joints were like $50, and then the guy wanted like $25 to put them in. Oh, yeah, the good old days. Yeah, $25 to put them in. I needed like $75. Where do you go for $75? Grandpa. Grandma. Yeah. Yeah, Grandpa saw me coming and took his wallet out. Okay, because I wasn't in my car. Yeah, why? Because they saved. This young generation, and I don't want to sound like an old man criticizing the young generation. It's the whole culture has changed around savings and having, remember the nest egg. And in fairness to the young culture, things have changed. Things are different to the young people. But so just because you're not getting the tax break for an IRA, don't overlook this as a foundation to set up your retirement plan. Now, and I'll close this whole comment with this. Some people have a 401k, or they'll have a 403b, or they'll have all these other plans. They're all the same thing. We call them qualified plans. Don't let that, some people are, oh, what does that even mean? It just means qualified. It's qualified for some kind of a tax break. So people will have a 401k at work. Just because you have that doesn't mean you're fully funded. It doesn't mean you can't contribute more. I run into a lot of people that I'll look at it and I'll ask them, say, did you open up an IRA? Do you have an IRA? Did you contribute to an IRA? It's one of the questions we ask when we do our intake. I say, no, I don't have one. I say, well, would you consider opening one if it would help your tax return? I mean, and you don't have to open one with me. That's not a sales line I'm giving you. You can go anywhere and open one. Okay, so let me say that. I mean, the banks do it, credit unions do it, every financial planner I know does it. So you can open up an IRA. Would you consider if it's tax break? No, I've got something at work, I'm good. And then I'll say, well, I look at, because I see it's on your W-2, how much money you put in there, and I'll tell them, I said, you really didn't put a lot in there. You didn't put as much as you could, because there are limits, but there's some room here. And people go, really? And I'll say, yeah, you could put a couple of $1,000s. I've had people put $900. They can actually put $900 in to an IRA, even though they have a plan at work, and still get a tax break. You know, and they still are eligible to do it. They might not even get a tax break, but they can put it in there. They qualify for it. Might not give them a tax break, but they can put that away. Again, don't sabotage your retirement just because you're not getting a tax break for something, is the point of everything I'm trying to say here. So look at it even if you have something. And then, okay, so then the other conversation is there are two types of IRAs. There's a traditional where you get the tax break right now on your tax return, and then there's the Roth. The way the Roth IRA works is you don't get a tax break now. You put the $6,000 away. There's a few rules there. You got to leave it for 5 years, blah, blah, blah. It's all minor stuff. You put it away. Oh, I don't say minor like to dismiss it. There are rules, and we have to look at them. But you put that money away. When you take it out, you pay no tax on the money that you put in, and you pay no tax on the gain. So, and the last 15, I was going to say 5, but really 10 to 12 years have been a roller coaster ride, and some stock has gained major appreciation. There are people whose Roths, you know, their investments in their Roth account have like tripled. And when they pull that money out, they're going to pull a big chunk of money out tax free. So Roths have a major advantage. Is that going to go on forever and ever and ever and ever? Who knows? Who knows if it's going to go on forever and ever and ever? But right now they are good. So I just wanted to get into all that to encourage you. Look at these. Don't say no just because you're not getting the immediate tax write-off. Okay? Emily, did you want to add anything to that? I know I didn't give you much of a heads up. I told you I was going to talk about it.
I think you covered it all.
You think I covered it? Well, Tom, let's go ahead and take that first break at 27 minutes after. This is, I know, and I did that all. Tom, you're my witness. I did all that without notes.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I had to say that. Jim's always shocked. Jim's like, how can you sit there and do these? Jim goes, you didn't bring one note. I said, well,
years of experience.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily. This is Gilbert and Emily Talk Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. I want to tell you about another great local business, Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949. Sean is a licensed general contractor. He can do your job from site development to completion. That's Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949 and tell him Gilbert Talks Taxes sent you.
This is Kimberly. If you owe the IRS for prior years or you have unfiled tax returns, don't call those national toll-free numbers. Affordable, secure, and local help is available for you. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300. Gilbert is an enrolled agent permitted to practice before the IRS. Taxation is his specialty. He knows the latest laws to help you with your problem. Avoid garnishments, levies, and liens. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300.
No. We are back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. I am here with Emily today. So it's a pair of EAs talking about taxes. We are enrolled agents. Excuse me, I'm coughing. We are enrolled agents. We are enrolled with the IRS to prepare tax returns to help you with tax matters and anything you may need. If you need to get us, if you need to make an appointment to have your tax return done, or as I just said, I was voted Best Financial Planner, best of Rutherford County Financial Planner So if you wanted to have a conversation about financial planning, give us a call, 828-289-9300. I've had people ask me, Gilbert, why did you talk more about stocks and investing and stuff on the radio? Because I believe, number one, I think there's way too many radio programs that talk about investing. Way too many. And there's way too many people on TV that talk about it. And the truth of the matter is, if you distilled it down, 90% of what they say is not relative. Relative. It's not relevant. It really isn't. And this stuff is changing so fast. Most of it is just a commercial for them to have you do business with them. They want to come across as knowing what they're talking about. And nobody knows what tomorrow's going to bring. Well, there's only one that does. The Lord. And that's it. But they all act like they know. They've all got some inside, and that's the thing I don't like about it. They all act like they've got some inside information. The truth of the matter is, nobody has inside information. Markets are fickle. Markets change. Things happen, and nobody knows. When that bell rings on Wall Street, nobody knows what's going to happen. And that's just the truth of the matter. And these conspiracy theory people, oh, it's rigged, this, that. They think, no, it's not. It's not. Human nature is human nature, and what's going to happen, nobody knows. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to segue into this. I want to talk about Silicon Valley Bank. I have to talk about Silicon Valley Bank because this is probably the most important financial event. I want to say that's going to happen this year, but after FTX, if you would have told me that something else could happen, I would be shocked. But you know, Emily, I think what you brought is going to segue very nice into this, because I'm going to start with that. Let's talk about that.
This?
Yes, I want to talk about that real quick. Emily brought me a copy of the. Where did you get it?
A tax history website.
A tax history website. There is such a thing as a tax history website, folks.
It's the original 1913-1040 tax form.
Yes, both pages.
All 4 pages.
Oh, there's 4 pages to it?
Yeah, they had instructions.
Oh, they had instructions. Okay, because I thought the actual tax form was only. Oh no, okay, because there's the deductions. Mm-hmm. Oh, instructions. I thought it was 3 pages. There's the income. So there's the front page where you put your information. So this is from 1913. So this is the form 1040.
But isn't that like so IRS? Income tax, and then the next line says the penalty.
Yeah. So this is, I am holding a replica of the 1913 tax return. It says to be filled in by the collector. To be filled in by the Internal Revenue Bureau. So before it became the IRS, it was the IRB. It was the Internal Revenue Bureau.
I guess service sounds better than bureau.
Well, it was called, that was before the Department of Treasury. Tell me more, Grandpa. It was the United States Internal Revenue. So, and it was the Internal Revenue Bureau. So, and you see it, it's right here. So this was to be filled in by them. Of course, 1913. I mean, most people would have just taken this somewhere and, holding a bag of coins, of course, silver coins, and they're waiting to be told what to do. For failure, okay, so Form 1040, income tax, we need to post this on our website.
People might actually try to fill it out.
Yeah, and send it to me. I'll file this. You could file a 1913 tax return, okay? You're a little behind there. So for failure to have this return in the hands, I love the wording on this. So this is the actual wording at the top of the Form 1040. The penalty for failure to have this return in the hands of the collector of the Internal Revenue on or before March 1st is $20 to $1,000. See instructions on page 4. And the instructions are 1 page. The tax code was only like a couple of hundred pages. There it is. And by the way, you might have to pay a super tax. There was something called a super tax. During the Depression, Tom was there. During the Depression, there were people, because your tax return information was published, there were people that actually wanted to pay the super tax because it looked like they were rich. So they would actually lie about their income and pay a little bit of money, relative amount of money, so they would think so they could hobnob with high society. I actually read it just like that. So they could hobnob with high society, because that was like they would look at the tax roll to see where you were at, or if you were even on it. If you're on it, oh, look at this guy. He's got at least $20 of the Internal Revenue honor for. So the deadline was March 1st. Things really change very little. 110 years later, March 1st is $20 to $1,000 United States Internal Revenue return of annual net income of individuals as provided by the Act of Congress approved October 3, 1913. Very little changes. Return of net income received or accrued during the year period ending. So this was a multi-use form because you filled in the year you were doing this for. So it's the usual information. You put in your name, your address, and what is missing?
No Social Security numbers.
No Social Security numbers, because we didn't have Social Security yet, which was actually called Widows and Orphans Pension, is what the first, Social Security. I remember when I was a child, and I was a child in the 70s, okay? I was born in 59. So I remember in the 60s and the 70s, okay, I would say to old people that I thought were old at that time, I would say, how old are you? And they would say, I'm so old, my Social Security number's 9. That, I don't know why that was the thing. And I remember believing them. I would tell my Mom, Mr. Tremelli is so old, his Social Security number is 9. And my mom would just look at me like, how gullible is this boy? I didn't know. So that was like a standing joke back then. But, okay, so they fill this out and they turn it in. Okay, now, why is this a segue? Did you want to say anything else about this?
No, I just thought it was an interesting piece of history.
It's a very interesting piece of history. And you put your income sources and you put your expenses. We could do a whole 1-hour program on this because really today's tax form is not much.
Not that different.
No. You take out, you add the part about credits, you add the part about withholding, and you add the part about your Social Security number and all your dependents, and you have a 2023 tax return. Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? And there's the seal for taking the affidavit. So you actually had to do this before a notary public. I think most guys were a notary public or some type of a notary public.
Yeah, if you're making his own return.
Yeah, an affidavit to be executed by an individual making his own return. Well, they were making that exception for farmers because who's got all the money besides grandma? Farmers, okay? And you're making this. Okay, so how does this segue into what I want to talk about? Because it's what we're seeing today is rooted in history. Let me start with that. So for those of you that don't know, because this happened so fast, and Christy and I went to bed at 2:30 researching this, got up at 6:30, and the first thing Christy and I did was we just opened up our Bibles and started reading our Bibles, because that's what it feels like. I mean, this really feels the seriousness of this. I can't say it. We've read these scriptures since we were children in Sunday school and in our Bible studies, in Revelation. Joel 2, play the trumpet in Zion, the day of the Lord is near. I mean, there's so many scriptures, but let me start with this. In November, and I told Christy this morning, I do this program, again, I started it with, telling you why I do it, how I do it. I really pray to God, what do I talk about? God, help us to help the people. And I'll just say things. And I'm not bragging, and I really want to be humble, but I look back and people say to me, I get this all the time, how did you know? I'll talk about something. How did you know? I'll talk about something, and in the next week it happens. I'll talk about it because I see it coming. My wife, I had a minister one time say to me, you're of the tribe of Issachar. They saw the times and they could read the times and knew what was coming. And at the first time she said that to me, I kind of laughed and thought that was funny. And my wife looked at me, she goes, no, seriously. There are people that are called to look at the times and shout a warning. And I've never like seen myself this way. Like I don't sit there and say, I'm going to shout a warning. I just really just see something and I said, hey, everybody, watch out for this. I mean, when cryptocurrency came out and everybody was making $1 billion on cryptocurrency and, oh, you can't lose money, I said, beware. It's a house of cards waiting for a strong wind. I said this. And you can go online. I mean, you can go back to my podcast, pull up programs. And I wish there was a way, Emily, that we could index these things because I tried to research some things I said. After tax season, we need to focus. There's got to be a way. Because we just do it, we air it, we put it on the air, and there's the podcast. And you can go back and listen to, we go all the way back to the very first program, right? On the podcast? I'm asking Emily because she's the one that does that.
Yeah, there's a few in between that may not be up there, but I have the beginning years and I have the most recent.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're all up there.
We've done 100. Well, it is a work in progress. And really, we just, we're in very real time. We're here live. And this is why I've turned down offers to syndicate. People have asked me to go on and be picked up by other networks. One person has 3 radio stations. Another person has 8 radio stations. I've had people reach out to me. And a lot of small radio stations, local radio stations, have wanted to pick me up. Or they wanted me to do the program more neutral and not focus on Rutherford County or talk about Rutherford County. They wanted to be more neutral or whatever. And I said, no, I want to do this thing live here. I get up in the morning and I come here live. And that's how I want to keep it for now. I keep saying that, right?
Yeah.
I keep saying that. Live, we do it here. We did it. We did it during the pandemic. We sat here with masks on and did it. And yeah, masks and gloves on and did it. We want to, so that's the program. So in November, I came here very, very serious. When FTX fell, the cryptocurrency exchange fell, and I said, folks, this is the greatest single collapse since October and the Great Depression that started the Great Depression, 1929. I said, this is the greatest single thing right here, and this will trigger some kind of economic collapse, economic disaster. This is not going to be self-contained, even though every news outlet, every politician said, oh, this is an isolated thing. No, it's not. And they lied to you. What we're learning is that the media is serial liars. Politicians are serial liars. Right down to our senator who was on, I couldn't believe some of the video. I saw some of the things he said. Serial liars. So yesterday, Friday, at noon, I believe it was about noon, federal regulators went and closed Silicon Valley Bank. Okay. I didn't find out about it because it was a very busy Friday till yesterday evening. And the reason I found out about it is because there are businesses here in Rutherford County that were affected by it. So when the media tells you that, oh, this happened out in California and it's a bank, it's just going to affect them, it's only tech stock companies, they're lying. There are people here in Rutherford County today who did not get payroll checks because Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Okay? There are people all over the world that did not get payroll checks yesterday because Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. So they're all lying to you when they say this is an isolated incident that's not gonna affect anybody. So when I was on here in November and I said this is major, we never let people invest. We don't, meaning the investments that I manage, and I work through a third party. I'm not actually sitting there trading your stuff. I don't. It's beyond me. I work with a back office called Latitude Advisors. I work with WGN Securities Investments on the broker-dealer side. I have Latitude on the portfolio investment side, and then I work through Highland Capital for all the life insurance policies that we write, all the life insurance business that we write. I limited it to those 3 because I believe they're the best that I have found that I work with. Okay? They handle it. They got all the systems that you need to do this. But they invest according to our strategies and when I say our, I'm talking about my little group at Latitude, our strategies and the things that we see. Crypto, Bitcoin, virtual currency, whatever you want to call it, has been never, and will never be on our list of approved securities, approved investments. Why? I just said it. It's a house of cards ready for a strong wind, and that strong wind came. That strong wind came and went. But I want to encourage everybody in the Lord with this, because God knew this was coming, but I think that things are going to shake, and they're going to shake, and they need to be shaken. And it's going to prove what your foundation is and what rock you're on. Tom, let's go ahead and let's take one more real quick break, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to explain what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. I'm just going to give the nutshell of it and what I'm seeing going forward, and really what I feel that God spoke to me this morning about it. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9.
A good sign is good business. Make your business stand out with a professional sign from Dia Signs and Graphics. Successful companies all over the United States trust the team at Dia Signs and Graphics. With 25 years of professional experience, we have the ability to present your company's image in the best light. Not only display signs, but Dia Signs and Graphics can print banners of all sizes. If you need magnetic signs or window and vehicle graphics, call on Dia Signs and Graphics today. We offer a full line of sign products for any event. 3D, sandblasted, storefront, and monument signs are just a part of a complete selection of quality signage. Professional signs and banners to fit any budget. Let your business stand out. Call Dia Signs and Graphics today at 286-4900 or stop by the sign shop located on Main Street in downtown Spindale. And check our website for more suggestions at diasignsandgraphics.com.
And D&S Signs has moved. They're now at 1621 Porsford Road in Rutherford. That address again, 1621 Porsford Road.
Hi, I'm Sandra. My husband Peterson and I own Precision Detail and Tint. We invite you to come to our new location at 620 U.S. Highway 64, Rutherfordton, on the corner of Silvers Lake Road and Highway 64. Whether you need specialty detailing for your car, RV, or boat, or window tinting for your automobile, or home or business, we can help you. Voted Best of Rutherford County for 11 straight years, you will know you will get quality work at a good price. Stop by for an appointment or call 828-245-8889. We're open Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 1.
Okay, we are back. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. Watchman on the wall. That's what we want to be. That's what I want to be. Watchman on the wall. So let me give you the nutshell. In 24 hours, the 17th largest bank in the United States of America, 17th largest in the United States, in a 24-hour period, actually it was more like a 6-hour period, collapsed, gone, closed. I actually have a screenshot of their stock value this morning from the NASDAQ. If you open them up and you look at their stock, it is zero. Their stock value is zero. Their stock value went down from $282.50 a share down to zero. It went down from 100 and it actually dipped, then it came back up for some air at 9. It went way down in the morning, came back up for some air, and then it tanked. You look on the NASDAQ, the value of it, the one-day value of it is zero. Okay? So how does a bank with assets of $43 billion go bankrupt in a 24-hour period? Okay? That's the question everybody's asking. How did this even happen? So they said, I'm just giving you the high points. So late Wednesday, investors saw news that Silicon Valley Bank. So what is Silicon Valley Bank? Silicon Valley Bank, for those of you who don't know, Silicon Valley Bank is a bank with 7 branches in the Silicon Valley of California. And if you're outside of Silicon Valley, you may not even know what SVB is. It's a very, and these are, I don't know any other words to use, but a very hip, trendy, now very woke California, typical California culture bank. Okay? In the Silicon Valley, which is where all your tech companies are, and that's where, if you're a tech startup, that's where you go. And if you're a tech startup that needs capital, which all tech startups need huge amounts of capital. Okay, their liquidity needs are major. That means they need cash flow every day. Silicon Valley Bank became like a hub for all of that. Okay, became like a hub. I want to read that scripture. Emily just found the scripture I was looking for. Let me go ahead and read it now. They will stand a long way off. This is Revelation 18, verse 10. They will stand a long way off in terror of her torment, and they will cry, woe and alas, the great city, the mighty city, Babylon. In one single hour, how your doom and your judgment has overtaken you. Babylon will collapse in 1 hour. This bank, really a behemoth, and I'm not using that word lightly, a behemoth, the 17th largest bank, collapsed. And you could literally say it was in an hour, because the regulators came in at noon, and at 1 o'clock, there were people that went to the main office to get their money. It's their money. They wanted their money. And what did the bank do? They called the police. And the police came and told people who have their money in this bank. The police said, you're on private property, leave or we're going to arrest you. I mean, can you imagine standing in line at a bank asking for your money and the police come and chase you away? There's videos of it. So, and then the other scripture is, an earth's businessmen. This is, and 11. I should have kept reading. Thank you, Emily. I should have kept, no, that's good. And earth's businessmen will weep and grieve over her because no one buys their freight, their cargo anymore. So it's the bank in Silicon Valley. Now, so you here in Rutherford County, or those of you that picked me up, whatever, I didn't welcome. I mean, I got right into it today. Those of you live streaming me that picked me up all over the country. I have people, I'm doing a tax return for somebody in Oklahoma today. They picked me up on the internet. So, Cincinnati. I've got people in Michigan. I got people in Maine. I got people all over the country that have come to know me from this radio program and seeing me online. You're thinking, I'm in wherever, Oklahoma. I think they were in I don't even know the city, in Oklahoma. How could this possibly affect me? And most people didn't even know this bank existed. Because this bank is such a tech bank, all these tech companies used it, your money could be going through that bank whether you know it or not. Let me explain how people in this county are being affected by this. Okay? So you use a third party to do your payroll. Chances are that third party, and many of them are. I looked at a list last night. Most of the third party, and I shouldn't say most, many third party payroll providers are out of Silicon Valley, California. Why? Because it's a tech hub. It's where techie people go to be techie. You know, it's the talent is there. That's where you get. Where the pool of talent is for this. So let's say you're using a payroll provider. And because of the internet, you don't even know who it is. You don't see these people in person. You're doing it online. So you get a payroll provider, and this is not indicative of them, by the way. They could be excellent, and they probably are excellent. They're very good people that are motivated people, whatever. So you do your payroll. The money goes from your bank to their bank, okay? Their bank is Silicon Valley Bank. Most likely, if they're a tech company in Silicon Valley, they're using Silicon Valley Bank. It is the bank. Okay, so it goes to their bank. Then from their bank, it might even go to another bank. There may be an intermediary, but that's a hard word for a Cuban to say. Intermediary. There might be another bank in the middle. And so your money from your employer to your pocket, that payroll could cross 2 or 3 banks. Okay, you follow the money. It goes, and it happens at the speed of electricity, that fast, through these systems, and you never know it. All you know is you're going to wake up, and many people did yesterday morning. You wake up at 7:30 in the morning, and you open up your bank app to make sure that your payroll check is there, and you don't care where that money's been. It's there in your bank account for you to do what you got to do with it. Well, I don't even know the number. Nobody knows the number, and we may never know the number because this is something that nobody's really tracking. But how many individual payroll accounts were affected by this? I'm going to tell you it's tens of millions. Just because I know the numbers involved with these tech companies and I know the size of payroll. Just overall. I'm going to tell you that it affected tens of millions of people. If not tens, definitely many millions of people yesterday morning did not get payroll because of this. So what happened? So it cycles through Silicon Valley Bank. Silicon Valley Bank got shut down. I mean, it got shut down. The computers got turned off, folks, okay? That money's sitting there. It's not going anywhere. Now, so what started this problem? So they were having some balance sheet problems, and it goes back to what I said in November. These people were, and nobody knows the real numbers. Gets back to our serial liar politicians and our serial liar media. Nobody knows the numbers because nobody wants to know the numbers. Okay, it's to their advantage that nobody knows the numbers. How much money did FTX cost? We don't know. 300 billion, 200 billion, who knows? 100 billion. You know, Dirksen said $1 billion here and $1 billion there, and pretty soon you're talking about real money. Nobody knows. So what happened is Silicon Valley's spreadsheets looked really bad. Their financial statements looked really bad. This information came out. I think it was their fourth quarter stuff that started to come out in January, you know, comes out in January, February. It looks bad. They're in trouble. People can see this bank's not doing good. Then on Wednesday, late Wednesday, the CEO, another serial liar, and I say that, I'm not even trying to be funny. The rumor is, and I don't know if it's true or not, it's what I'm hearing, is that they all cashed out, and this is mainstream media reporting this, so I'm tending to believe this. They all cashed their stock options out before the bank collapsed. And then they had the goal to get on and say, don't panic. Yeah, of course don't panic. You already cashed out. You're not panicking. The guy's name is Greg Becker. He urged on Twitter and all these social media platforms, stay calm. That was on Thursday, 24 hours before. 24 hours. No, Tom, we're not going to take a break. Let's just keep going.
Right.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes. Tom's warning me about a break. No, let's just go. Let's just go. Well, thank you for telling me that, though. I do appreciate that. CEO Greg Becker didn't instill confidence when he urged them to stay calm. What happens when you tell somebody to stay calm?
They panic.
Has anybody been in an argument? You ever been in an argument with somebody, and its arguments get heated, you're disagreeing, and you go, calm down. Or somebody says to you, calm down. What do? Calm down. I got your calm down right here. You know, right? I mean, it escalates the fight. So what did he do? When he said stay calm, people ran to the bank to take their money out. Yeah. They said, I actually got on a phone call last night with somebody who's been closely monitoring this, and they were actually monitoring this since Monday because they were aware of the spreadsheet problem. And they thought something was going to happen this week. And I said, how did you know? He said, I had a feeling. He was watching it all week. So people started showing up and pulling money out. So on Friday, or no, it was on, so this week, that same CEO said publicly, we need to raise $2.25 billion to shore up our balance sheet. And he tried to make it seem like this is normal because these tech companies always need money. So it is kind of normal for them to do this. Okay? So he said, we need $2.25 billion. That set the thing on fire. Wednesday, everybody started pulling their money out. Thursday, everybody pulled their money out. By Friday morning, after a 48-hour panic, $42 billion had been taken out of the bank. $42 billion. They had no money left. They were $958 million in the hole. Okay? The bank collapsed. Babylon has fallen, and it happened in a day. There were people last night on Twitter and all these Facebook and whatever I don't even know what they're using now, Instagram or whatever. Mm-hmm. I know we're running out of time, Emily. I need to talk to Jim. I need to come back and do like 2 hours on this. There were people literally lamenting because in a single hour, Revelation 17, because in one single hour, all the vast wealth has been destroyed. But folks, I'm going to encourage you. I got 10 seconds. Cry out to God. I'm telling you right now, it's going to get even shakier. it is going to get worse. It is going to be, every foundation is going to shake.